Alright people, welcome back. How yous all doing today? I'm doing good, just chilling at home, catching up on some uh, podcast research, if you want to call it that, for future stuff. Made my way through about a quarter of that book already, or highlighted all that, so looking forward to getting my thoughts together for it. I did a podcast today with a guy for Glasgow, Lachlan McRae, right? He's just kind of started his podcast about a month ago, if that, I think. It's called Project Transformation, I'm sure it's called. Excuse me. And obviously it'll be online next week, so maybe jump over and check his channel to see if it's for you. But we're just coming at, I think we're just coming at my life story from a different angle, no like all the carnage and the jails, and obviously that's in it as well, but it was looking at it from the angle of transformation, obviously, because when you look at my past and you look at the way I'm living now, like I have transformed my life, but every day, it's one day at a time. When you've been in these places and all that, which I would like to kind of point out is, I don't like the word rehabilitation, I prefer the word reformed. Rehabilitation to me implies you're back to the state you were before all that happened, which I'm no, far from it. I would say that reformed to me signifies that I recognise why I was doing these things and stopped doing it for whatever reason or reasons. So that'll be on YouTube next week. So tune in, go on his channel and watch it. I think it's Wednesday. I'll probably put a link to it on my own YouTube as well. So go and watch it. It'll probably be different for the other ones. You know what I mean? Or maybe some similarities, obviously. I watched Five O's podcast on Sean Atwood last night. It was alright. It's good to see kind of guys getting on and getting their story out, especially in Scotland, because we're kind of like, we're no, I don't really think we're like mainstream in that way. But obviously, in the Scottish context, but a lot of guys getting their story out and being a motivator for change, or spurring other people on to change whatever they're doing. So it's all good. Somebody made a comment yesterday, right? And we were talking about Window Warriors after doing that video about Peter Head. And it made me remember a funny story. Now, I was in Parliament serving 4 years from like so I did the first year in Care Law Secure Unit, went to Parliament from 1998 to the end of 2000. And at first I started off in the under 18s hall. It was called Rannoch Hall. There was only like 40 cells in this, as opposed to the other halls, which were, there was like maybe 3 times that. And say there was 12 cells back then in Parliament segregation unit. It was called Dunedin unit, right? So didn't matter if you were a protection prisoner or you were a mainstream prisoner in Parliament, everybody went to the same segregation unit, but it just meant if you were a protection prisoner, you wouldn't get exercised the same time as a mainstream, right? And there was these 2 boys, one was for Aberdeen and one was for Airdrie, right? And every cell in this digger's full, there's 12 A's, right? So there's 10 mainstream and 2 protections, right? And the digger's in an L shape, right? So it's like cells and cells and cells, right? And then out with the L shape, it's like 3 exercise pens. We just walk around in fucking circles all day. And if there's any cells that are past the fence, you can go up to the window and speak to them. And The guy for Airdrie, right, was said to have been in prison doing 5 years for raping a woman with a prosthetic leg, right? The other guy, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what he was in for. The guy for Aberdeen, I don't know what he was in for, right? And they used to come up to the window at night and just shout abuse at all yours, right? And see if they knew anything about, they would just be pushing your buttons all night. Now listen, I'm not going to lie, right? See, the boy for Airdrie was in for the sticky tape, mate. I used to be in tears of laughter listening to this fool because of the absolute outrageous comments he would have. Like he would just be shouting people down and one-liners. Like don't get me wrong, if he looked me in a room with him, man, I would have twisted his head off, right? But he'd be shouting shit about like my ma and whatever, right? But I didn't have a close relationship with my ma, so it didn't really bother me. But if he knew what buttons to push, he would do it. And the guy for Aberdeen was kind of his backup, right? Like he wasn't. I wouldn't have said he was funny, right? But we would see when the screws went half shift, we would all go up to our windies and just start shouting, "Here, fucking John Smith, get to your fucking windy, you fucking bam," and just start pure. But they would always take the bait, so we'd just all be arguing, right? And this guy would just roast every one of us, man, right? But obviously, some of us gave as good as we got. So, one night, right? This was the summer of 1999. So, kind of hot and humid, you know what I mean? Especially like being in the seg. Because of the size of the wall around the seg, there's not a lot of sunlight getting in there. I remember when I first walked out after my first stint there, the light was kind of blinding. It reminded me a wee bit of, let's see, Shawshank when he comes out the tomb and he's like that. It wasn't that bad, obviously, but anyway. So we are just making, we used to pure like bang our windies because it was like perspex with bars, and when you bang it, it would make a racket, right? And everybody would just keep doing it pure loud, right, at the same time, just to fucking annoy this guy, right? And the screws, whoever was doing the night shift, right, or the back shift, whatever, he's going round all the doors and telling everybody to shut up, right? But when I heard them coming, I would just lay down my slab, my concrete slab with a mattress on it, with a book, and just sit it in front of my face and just pretend to be reading. But I ended up changing my MO, and what I would start doing was turning my light out when I'd stand at the window so that if he opened the spy hole, he wouldn't be able to see me, so as I could just kid on I was lying down. By the time we got the night light on, right? So the screws going round all the doors, opening the flat and kicking the door and telling you to shut up, right? Now, some people were arguing back, some were just going, aye, right, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he's got to that, see the guy that was in for the rape, they got to his door, right? And he started arguing with him, and he's been shouting to the screw. The screw's like that to him, here, you better shut up, or we're coming in, we're coming through the door, right? But obviously, when after a certain time, they're not allowed to open your door, and it's earlier in the seg. So say you get locked up at 9 o'clock in Pullman, normally in the halls or whatever jail you're in. If you're in the digger, it's like your door's locked, sealed at 6 o'clock, and that's out the next day, right? Don't go out for nothing unless you're swinging for the light. And that we can hear every bit of this because I'm right up at the door with my ear hanging out the door, right? And fucking I can't mind the exact words he was saying to this screw, right? But he was giving him it stinking, man, and I was laughing. I was listening to this laughing, right? So the screws went away, and the whole diggers went pure quiet on the outside. But we've all went back to the windies and started shouting at these two. The guy for Aberdeen, I think, was on my right hand side as I faced the windy. And I think he was next door to me or the next one up, and he was just shouting all sorts of shit at us, man. And I was doing that, asked to go to the gym with us and all that, but I didn't know if he had asked the screws I want to come off protection. I don't want to go to I don't want to go to the gym myself. I want to go with him. They would have let him, and he said he was going to do it, but he didn't. But anyway, so after about 20 minutes, half an hour, right, all your fares, see like the lockstep, like the goose stepping stormtrooper boots, right, and there's only one thing that can mean, right. I'm like, ah, man, you're out the door again, and then all I've heard the spy hole going up, and then all I've heard go up to the window and put your hands on the bars. That can only mean it's the riot squad, the mufti mob as we call it. And he's shouting abuse again, right? He's fucking shouting, ah, you fucking Brit, I'll fucking bust you, you're a dafty man, your missus is out getting pumped when you're in here and all that. And then all you've just heard, boom! The doors crashed in, right? And you've heard them running in with rushing them with the shield, right? It was hilarious. And then all you've heard, I've got asthma. Right? This guy was yelping, man. The guy in for the rate. We were off at the windies again, pound the windies. You fucking dafty, you fucking scumbag. You fucking rat, just pure calling them everything you can think of, and making mad screeching noises, and see, like, know how in Parliament, if you've been seagulls, you make in Parliament you make the seagull noise. It's like a seagull noise you make, man, like when you were slagging people and all that. Or when people went up for extras, you used to make the seagull noise. And fucking, they've pure bent him up, man. You could hear him screaming. I mean, he was screaming, right? And don't know if they just took it upon themselves because of what he was in for. I don't know, but anyway, I've heard them locking him in the strong cell, right? It's just a bare cell, nothing in it, no windies, nothing, a big extractor fan, so you can't even shout out and hear what's going on. And then I've heard doors opening, and it's getting closer and closer to me, and I'm like, oh no, man, what's going on now? And then they've got to the next door, the guy next door to us, heard them getting in there. But I've not heard like fucking screaming and yelping and all that. So they've came to my spy hole and opened the spy hole door. Stand up at the far wall and put your hands up in the bars because they're coming in, know what I mean? I'm like, oh fuck, here we go, man. I was reading Ur Wally or something. Kidding on I was anyway. I think I'd read this about 20 times. Because you'd no TVs and all that shit back then, right? So, stood up, put my hands against the bars, obviously no facing them, and they've ran in with the shields and just pressed me right up against the wall and says, better keep the fucking noise down, right? We're coming back, and blah blah blah, and I'm like, right, aye, cool, just want them to get out the fucking cell, know what I mean? But that was too funny that day, man, and it we were talking about, commenting on yesterday about how, like, window warriors, like people who just shout abuse at you through windies and doors, but because they know they're never going to walk into you because obviously they're their own protection or whatever. And that was always one of my funnier moments. And I remember after that, when he get back out into his normal cell the next day, still shouting abuse at his man. I'm like, I'm like 16 at the time, right? Very, very immature, obviously. So ended up going up to the pen, the exercise pen, and I asked to go in the pen that would have access to his window. And I took a magazine with us. It was an FHM or a loaded magazine, can't mind what it was. And I remember going away up to the corner of this pen, right, after banging his window, and he's came to the window. He just looked like a wee rat. Looked like a wee tiny Hitler moustache and all that. Just looked, I don't know, like he resembled a rodent, like a human man, and I don't mean that just because of what he's in for. I mean, like, he did look weird. And I'm not going to lie, went right up to the corner, just squatted, man, and ripped all the pages out the magazine and defecated on the ground, right? Started using the magazine to wipe myself. And he's at the window watching me doing this. He's standing there like he knew what I was about to do, man. And when I was done, there was still like the magazine that I had left. I've used it to pick up the excrement. And I'm just walking out of his window with it. And there's a big metal grill on the window, right? And I've just smeared it all over his grill. And I was like, you're having grilled shite. Oh, what, man? Fucking pure madness, that moment, man. Um, just because I remembered that yesterday when we were talking about that, and I wasn't too sure about talking about it, but you know what, fuck it, man. It's no picnic in there, know what I mean? There's some of the things you see going on and the things you see people doing, sometimes you forget, how do I put it? It's a bit like a human zoo sometimes. Um, but ironically, the guy for Aberdeen, when I got my 16 years, for the attempted murder and the serious assault outside the pub, fighting with the two guys. I remember meeting somebody from Aberdeen and asked them if they knew him, and they said, aye, he's been done with a dangerous driving death, like a vehicular manslaughter or something. He had like 6 or 7 driving bans, and he had this wee boy in a motorway, my wee 8-year-old boy. Drove round a bend with a speed limit of 30 mile an hour. He drove round at fucking 70 mile an hour or something, for a drink. Wrecked the motor, left the wee boy in the motor, and he passed away sadly. Just, I couldn't live with that in my fucking conscience, man. I think I would just, I'd be an absolute shell of a man. And it's just so regrettable that somebody would even get into a motor drinking, but get into a motor drinking with a kid in the car. Absolute fucking disgusting behaviour, know what I mean? We've all done shit we're not proud of, know what I mean? But that kind of shit. And I think there was 2 other young boys hurt in the crash. I don't know if they were in his motor or they were in another car. But I think they were in his, but don't quote me on that. And he was sentenced to 8 years for that. Now, he had 6 driving bans. He was banned for driving at the time, and he got caught the next day in a stolen car. So he fucking went out drinking, a kid in his motor, I think it was his girlfriend's kid or something, or his ex-girlfriend's kid or whatever, crashed the motor, left the wee boy to die, went and stole another motor and was driving about. Know what I mean? If that was my kid, man, there would be nowhere he could hide from me. It would be my mission to write that, because the pain would be like the petrol in the engine. I've been there before, not with a kid, but with my dad dying when I was 14, that was how I was going about doing what I was doing. The pain, the rage was just too strong to resist. because kids are precious, know what I mean? They're blank slates, nothing thought of it. Just horrendous when kids pass like that. When any kid passes, obviously being a dad, know what I mean? It's something you don't even want to think about. And this was how long after? This was about 4 years after I was in Pullman Digger with him. And apparently, when he finished his 8 years, he was out drinking. I think he'd only been out a week. Two guys have just ran up and started stabbing fuck at him. I think they might have been related to the poor kid who died. And for what I'm led to believe, the two guys who attacked him, I think they were given like 5 year each, but got cut to like they ended up winning appeals and getting it cut to like 18 months for a year. Good on them, not I mean. It's understandable, is what I mean to say. It's understandable, do you know what I mean? There's just some things I don't think there's any coming back for. Do you know what I mean? Forgot I had them quality streets, man. I had a full tin in there. No even burst the tin open. Just done it today. No big on chocolate, but fuck it. But aye, what a tragic waste of life, man. And I hope if that guy's still alive, he's learned his lesson. Because you have to carry that pain with you every day. Or done daft shit when we were young. Shit we're no proud of. Shit we wish we hadn't done. But that kind of shit. Oh God. Absolute horrendous. I don't even think I'd want to go to jail if I'd done that. We deserve to pay every day. It's just my personal beliefs, you know what I mean? I think you might think different, but we're all different, aren't we? But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me. Hope you're all having a kind of chilled time and enjoying your time with your family, because it's these precious moments that when you're in prison you wish you had. And I was one of the people obviously doing such a long time. And I remember watching a film the other day, and it was a prison film. The guy was sitting looking at all his old letters that his kid had sent him and drawings and all, and it just pure took me back, because I remember doing that a lot. Like, you do it every so often, look at you just go through all your old letters and your photos. It's almost like trying to remind yourself that you have something, you have somebody. And I'm just kind of starting to open up about all that shit. But it's good to do that. And it gets the point across to people, and listen, I was one of the people. Going to jail's got to be a canter. Aye, maybe it is to start with. But do enough time, or have something to lose, something that you never want to lose, sooner or later it will hit you. It hit me when I had a kid. And I'm just thankful to be here now for my kid. So I'm looking forward to just getting this year out the way, and then concentrating on my goals for next year. As I says, all very achievable. There's like 11 on them, I think. 11 things I want by this time next year. And I will get more than half of that list easily, man. some of it's not going to be easy, but what is easy that's really worth it, you know. So as I say, thanks for listening. I hope that was kind of insightful. I'm away to go and read the rest of my book. So have a good day, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.